You can't get in with T. Ross, the legend of Mr. No Bad Shots. I live by that. That's why I'm one of the best difficult shot makers in the league, because I live by the mantra of no bad shots.
He already said it best. Terrence Ross, No Bad Shots podcast. Welcome into episode 5. We are so excited to be here again, bringing you some good content. There is still hope for us. If Phil Mickelson can win the PGA Championship at the ripe age of 50, we can do anything. Our bodies are still going to be just fine.
Hoop Fest. That means I can win Hoop Fest. Thank you. I can be a champ at Hoop Fest still.
Hey, you just won a tournament. You won a little 3-on-3 tournament, didn't you? Connor Hill, former Idaho Vandal, shout out.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's no Hoop Fest.
You got enough medals. So speaking of like really high class athletes just like us, NBA playoffs is also going on right now. That's been a lot of fun. This past weekend might have been the most fun because play-in tournaments, for how much people say that they don't like them, they create so much drama and so much fun. And that Lakers-Warriors game would have never happened if not for this. So like I think play-in is fun. I get why people don't like it, but these early playoff games have been so much fun.
Yeah, they've all been close. Sometimes you get a feel like, oh, this is going to be a sweep. This is going to be this way. And obviously there's a couple series that I can see, okay, this might be a sweep. Not as close, but for the majority of them, I can't tell you who's going to necessarily just take it away and just win them. So that's what makes it really intriguing. But I also think there's the like post kind of bubble like excitement that makes it even more exciting, because you're like, oh, we got playoff basketball, like actual basketball in arenas, fans, stuff like that. So it makes it intriguing for sure.
Oh my gosh, I think Trae Young and his performance in Madison Square Garden, like that felt like real basketball. It felt like I was watching a YouTube video from like 4 years ago, because we haven't had that in so long. And he was like talking crap to, New York fans. Like it got real quiet in here. He had an incredible performance. Ja Morant had an incredible performance over the weekend. Like the Memphis Grizzlies are fun to watch. Michael Porter Jr. is kind of stepping up and killing it. There's just so many stars in this league to watch. And Luka Doncic obviously killed it. Chris Middleton, the overtime. I mean, come on, the jumper, that was so pretty.
Yeah, that New York game was unbelievable. They had 15,000 people there, and just hearing, I'm not a big Knicks fan, but just hearing the fans, I like wanted the Knicks to win. But Trae Young's unbelievable. The Hawks are unbelievable. Nate McMillan's done an unbelievable job there. For them to transform from where they were to now has been miraculous to see. Yeah. And like you said, there's just so many young, talented players that it's awesome to see them in like an actual playoff setting, playoff games. They've been exciting, like all of them. Like watching even like the Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton of the Suns dominating, Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, Dame Lillard has been spectacular. Their series has been unbelievable. It's 1-1 now, and they're trying to figure out ways to stop Dame. And without Jamal Murray, Denver's trying to find offense. It's just like you can just go down the list of all of them. Watching the Nets, like you get to see Kyrie, you get to see James Harden, Brooklyn. It's really been an exciting time for sure in basketball right now.
If you miss one, it's like you missed out. But it's not the 15, 20 years of misery for the New York Knicks that wants you to do well this year. It's the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I just never really cared about the Knicks at all. But
I know no one has for a while.
And it is crazy.
Spike Lee, that's the only one.
It's crazy. Like the announcer said, Greg Anthony was just like, this thing holds 19,000. Just let 4,000 more people in. Well, we're at 15. Why not let them all in? Just let them all in. Just pack the place.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what future leagues do in the future with vaccination cards. Like if anyone's going to have to prove it. Like I've already seen out here, Spokane Indians games. Like you don't have to show a card or anything. You get in if you know you're vaccinated, and like it's kind of like based on trust system. It's so interesting. But was there anything else NBA wise? Because we're about to talk to someone who actually got to continue their career after college and continue to play. Because we talk about that post-college struggle. This guy has made a profession out of basketball, as very few have done. And he gets into the nitty gritty. Like it is such a job. Like it is really, truly, it's insane what you have to do in the NBA.
Yeah, he is definitely someone that extended his career being a professional shooter, which is it's crazy to think because like he talks about a little bit how he doesn't dribble much. He catches and shoots the ball, and he's been able to extend his career for that. And obviously, he's a close friend of mine. But it's really interesting. He does get into some topics that are really interesting for younger players, people listening, people that haven't seen the other side of the NBA or like a more in-depth version of it from an actual NBA player. And it was an awesome interview, and I really appreciate him coming on for sure.
One of your best buds, and he tells funny stories about Stephen. So
yeah, it doesn't
always
everybody says something about me.
You're memorable.
Yeah, exactly. I'm memorable. Thank you.
All right, let's get to Terrence Ross.
Before we get to this interview with my good pal, Terrence Ross, let's talk about our sponsor, theeverydayfan.com. They are your one-stop shop for all your sporting news, whether it's the NBA, NFL, or even the EPL League. They have got you covered. But they do not stop there. From pop culture to wrestling and entertainment, there's something for everyone. With some of the best writers in the game, come get a fresh perspective from an everyday fan like yourself. While you're there, they also have an unbelievable memorabilia shop. I know Alyssa talked about it last time. She wants to get her woman cave looking great. They have everything you need. Make sure to go check out theeverydayfan.com.
Go Sports.
We want to welcome to the No Bad Shots podcast, former UW standout, former dunk champion of the NBA, and Orlando Magic shooting guard, my good friend Terrence Ross. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Stephen. Alyssa, good to see you. I don't like these intros. I don't like them, but we can keep rolling. I don't want to do any more intros. So
Stephen,
you guys are listening to this on your car drive to work or from work. We just did 3 intros, and it was the most awkward thing I've done all day. So there's that.
Stephen's getting the repetitions, just like basketball. You gotta have him to get better, and that was hilarious.
He is a real life spaz. All he
and from now on,
you know how long it takes us to get through ad reads most of the time? Like it's forever. When we first got that game day, it was a nightmare. Manscaped was no walk in the park, and we spent half the time doing ad reads. And oh man, they were awful. I hope nobody ever has to hear those. I hope they're all deleted, bro. I hope they're all gone.
The blooper outtakes. Okay, so first of all, one more intro. You guys do a podcast together that's hilarious. T. Ross podcast, and this kind of spurted from that. Stephen has been pushing me to kind of get involved and do one, so he's doing both. But you guys from the beginning, we're going to get into your friendship, but Stephen made me listen to the entire first episode you guys did together.
Why?
And like he was like so pumped about it, so jacked, and I was like this because it was so not like his personality from what I remember, like to do a podcast. And he made me listen. It was like an hour and a half. I mean, it was in my like living room as we were like, I don't know, crafting our podcast thing. And I was like, you guys have gotten so good compared to where you started.
We've gotten better. At first, it was a nightmare. And this all spawned because we were just playing video games one day with our headsets on, and he said, hey, look at this Joe Rogan clip. Then after that, the next words were, we should start a podcast. And I was just like, okay, ready up. Like, I just thought nothing of it. And then now, actually a year later, and some change really, we have 2 podcasts. We have 2 podcasts and probably growing. So it's just it is a mindfuck.
THZ production coming up.
THZ, baby.
So first of all, obviously we got to talk about NBA. You're done right now, but what has the last it feels like 2 seasons from like a fan perspective. So I cannot even imagine what it's like for you guys. Like, did you actually have a break, and how ready are you for like vacation time?
It's tough, man, because we had kind of like with the hiatus, we were off for like maybe 3 months, 2 months. It was from March to like what was it? I can't remember. March to July?
October?
Yeah.
No, it was after July. It was after July.
He's talking about the break.
July 4th.
He's talking about the break before the bubble.
Yeah, so that felt like off season, and then we go into like just the bubble for 2 months, and that felt like its own season in itself, because we had training camp like a week before that. So it was just weird. It was just a weird time. And then going to this season, it was very sped up. I didn't know what to expect. I was super tired, just in the middle of it, from injuries to having guys down. just like the amount of like the turnarounds were just unreal. Like I didn't think how bad that would play a role in it, but it played a pretty big role. And on top of like the COVID testing twice a day, driving to and from every single day, like that's tough, bro. So this season felt like 2 seasons and it's just by itself. So I don't know, man. I've just been at home for the last 2 weeks, not doing anything, or last week, not doing anything. I've just been here. Like I started doing kickboxing today. I'm taking my second class today, so it's like the first time I got out of the house. But for the most part, I had no idea what I'm going to do because we still don't really have that much time. Like we have, don't get me wrong, we have like 4 months, but usually we have a little bit longer. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
So
is kickboxing like a normal workout thing? I have to.
I've been doing it. It's funny. I do the kickboxing at the gym I train at, and then Michael Carter Williams does the jiu-jitsu. So we've been doing it for like maybe a year now. That's crazy.
Don't catch those guys on the street.
Don't do it.
Do you have any idea then, since everything's been pushed back, do you have any idea of when they're going to do the next season then? Are they going to try to get back to regular time?
Yeah.
Or are they going to push it back to December again?
No, we're going regular time. So we have a quick turnaround.
So quick turnaround, right back into it.
Yeah, like October is what they're hoping. Because like, we keep going in December, like we're going to keep like prolonging it. So they're like, look, we're just going to have to bite the bullet, 2 quick seasons, blah, blah. So right in the middle of it. And then next summer, or that next offseason will be like a normal offseason.
So back to normal finally, which will be
hopefully.
Nice.
Yeah, thank God.
For real.
This is tiring, bro. I had nothing, I was barely home. Like I was just every day, every other day you had a game. And then if you didn't, you're usually traveling. Like there'll be times we'll be on like a 3-4 day road trip, fly back here for 1 day, and then just take off to the next city for like 3 or 4 days. Like it was crazy.
That's insane.
It's interesting because we got to talk to Chuma, and obviously him coming from college to this type of season, I can't imagine and you guys usually get some more time because obviously we're always talking every day, and it did seem like every day you guys were just turning around, boom, you're playing. Like every other day, that just seems. And do you think that led to a lot more injuries that we saw this year?
Well, for sure, everybody. Actually, our team we sustained the most injuries of any team in like the last 25 years. Like it was unreal. I think we only had 2 guys healthy, or 3 guys healthy the entire season. And Vooch was one of them, and Gary Clark was one of them. But they both got traded halfway through. And Dwayne Bateman played every single game. But bro, every single person on our team got hurt for at least 7-8 games. So like we went through a lot of injuries. So it put a lot more stress on the guys who weren't there. It was some games we were starting games with like 8 guys. So it was just it was tough, bro. It was tough. And for like Chima, usually for like rookies, they come into the league, then they get like maybe a month and a half off. Then they go straight to training camp, or they go to summer league. You get summer league, which is like 2.5 weeks. So they're there learning just the nature of the game. And then after that, you go home. You're there for like a month and a half before you have to go back to training camp. And so you get a little time, you get more adjusted. Chuma just went from going from Lakeland rehabbing to a sped up season. So I mean, he handled it well. I think he was healthy for the most part, but you could tell those guys, they seem tired at the end.
Yeah.
For you, I'm just curious because I watched part of that interview, and you're getting on his head for dunks, and he finally got one good one, and from your journey through NBA, you're now the vet, and especially this year when you had all the trades, and you're one of the last guys that has been there for a while. What's it been like to go from the guy that other guys are messing with is you're the rookie, or you're the first or second or third year, to you gotta lead these guys? I know you've done it for the last couple of years, but that's
I mean, it's different now. I mean, I usually had Boots was a year older than me. Who else? Chief was older than me. I always had guys at least a few seasons ahead of me. But this is the first time I went from that to I am the most years by at least 2. So it was just a weird feeling because I know that with that they kind of saw the older guys leave, and everybody got a sense of all right, we're going in a new direction. We have all young guys, and it's just rebuilding. And now it's I'm kind of like the only one that kind of sees the big picture. So it was weird. It was definitely weird. It was an adjustment for me because in the grand scheme of things, like I'm kind of like in the middle. There's still teams out there that would be like, still got old guys. If I was like on the Nets, I would be like still one of the younger guys. So
True.
it was just weird. It was just weird. It's not bad though. I mean, it's gonna with all that, like they get time to grow up and they get time to get that like on-court experience that you like kind of need. So I mean, it's kind of one of those bittersweet type of things, but for the most part, it's just that experience, man. Experiences like this help you kind of grow up faster. So I think those guys will be okay.
So I know you like to pick on those guys. You post Instagram videos, making fun of them, sleeping, doing all that stuff. Who was the vet when you were on the Toronto Raptors your early years that was always picking on you or doing things to you? They just like comes off the top of your head, or maybe a story.
See, it's so weird, bro. When I was like my first few years in the league, I didn't really think I was like 21, so that's still pretty like older than
You're
the
old.
guys that
You're
are
old.
Yeah, I was just like a 21. I did 2 years in college. Like most guys now are doing one and done in 19, 20, and they turn 21 in their second year. So it was just so different. I had guys like Allen Anderson, Amir Johnson, who himself had been in the league, I think, I can't remember, maybe 10 years at that point because
Allen was old. Allen was old, yeah.
Allen Anderson, Amir Johnson was older too because he got drafted right out of high school to the Detroit Pistons who won the championship team. So he was on that team. So he was just like, everybody felt super old. Andre Bargnani, Aaron Gray. Even if these guys only had 4 or 5 years, Jamal McGlure, even if these guys had 4 or 5 years, like they still felt like they were just like grown men in their early to mid 30s, and I was just these young 20-year-olds. So I felt like I'm just a little naive to a lot of things. I'm just young. I didn't know how things went. I was still in that frat boy year, bro. Like I was kind of living like a college student. Like I was just telling somebody else this. Like there'll be times I went to like the movies for dinner because they have like popcorn, pizza, hot dogs. So I'm just like, you know what? I can go watch a movie, get something to eat, and then go home and shut it down. So I was just like, I had no like concept of like, what it was to be older and mature and all that, just because I didn't know yet. So, yeah, I was definitely young. Guys were definitely more mature. Even DeMar, he was a few years older than me, but he's just one of the old soul type of dudes. Kyle Lowry was pretty much like 7 years in, 7 years. So
they had to mess with you though. They had to mess with you.
Nah, bro. I mean, not really. I mean, like when I was younger, we had rookie duties. We still went through some of that rookie hazings where I had a few times to grab bags, and most of it was just they would give you like these little pink backpacks. So they give you like this little Dora the Explorer or like some Princess Fairy Tale backpack. And when they give that to you, they just throw condoms and cash and all the stuff, like all the stuff that they need on the road that nobody else was scared. Like they gave it to the rookies. So anything they need, bro. They need coffee at 2 a.m. You gotta go get it. They need straps. You gotta go get it. They need candy, whatever, bro. That was your job. And if you didn't have that backpack on you, then you were pretty much just like you would get fined. Then they would kind of mess with you. They would fill your car up with popcorn, gummy bears, whatever. But I mean, no matter what they did, they would always like look out for you too. Like they would even. I remember it's like times I would have to go. We went out to eat, and they'd make me take like 4 or 5 shots, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to take all this. But they'll give me like. They'll pay for like my meals and they'll pay for like all the other stuff that if I'm with them, they pretty much cover the bill. So it was stuff like that you kind of do that. It's the same thing today, but it's just I don't know. It's a little different.
Yeah,
you can learn. I feel like that's a good also way like to learn about somebody, like whether or not they're going to take it and like handle it, and then like you get 4 shots deep and you start,
No, for sure. Then you get loose and you get more comfortable, and next thing you have fun, and then that's how you bond, and that's what the guys kind of go for. But I mean, it's crazy because even now, like, I mean, we still bond, we still hang out, we go here and there, but it's different. Like, I don't really remember doing all the childish things with my teammates. Like, I didn't play video games with Allen Anderson and Amir Johnson and Kyle Lowry. No, like those guys are just old. They had families. They, took their kids to school. They watched the games. They went to sleep, worked out, whatever. But now today, everything is like, yo, bro, let's hop on the Twitch stream. Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's go, do that. Film it, TikTok. I'm just like, bro, this
virtual.
Yeah, it's like a different. It's just a different era, bro. It's a different era, and it is what it is. I'm glad to live through both, but I'm just wrong with the flow, guys.
Yeah, That's so interesting. I'd be like, I would regret it if I didn't talk about popcorn as a full meal
Oh
for
my
you
God.
back in the day. Like I'm so into popcorn. So that was, you would go and like, what's your toppings? Like, how do you get your
No toppings, just butter.
butter?
And like even to this day, I love popcorn. I had popcorn last night watching this movie. No, what was it? TV show like East or Mayor of East Town. I don't know, some miniseries still is super dope. I had popcorn before damn near every game. When we go into the locker room, they usually just have like sometimes I have like boxes of popcorn, like just one big popcorn type thing. And I'm the dude that's there all the time. Like even if they don't have it, I'll go to the bar boy. But look, I need like 3 or 4 popcorns. Like bring them to me. Here's $20. Like I need it, bro. Like that's my favorite snack. And that and pretzels. I get those 2 things before games, like religiously.
Oh my gosh, that's
You guys have-
that makes sense now. Like,
But COVID fucked that up. So some stadiums didn't have like popcorn in the entire arena because nobody's coming. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. I probably play bad in games.
That's hilarious because
I love
Alyssa
that.
is a huge popcorn fan. So you guys mesh.
Do you like flavors on your popcorn?
not always. Like I like since I have it literally every single night. So I make it at home, and I do like coconut oil, and I do like salt on it, and I'll do some weird like, yeah. Sometimes
That's
Buffalo
like smart
wing.
pop. I don't know what Buffalo wing popcorn.
Oh my gosh, buffalo sauce. It's like, or not sauce. It's a powder. It's like buffalo wild something, and you try it, and you immediately start coughing because it's like spicy and
It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
And you know, I'm a typical, butter, maybe extra butter on a Friday night, but I don't.
you don't mess with it.
Not with flavors, not with toppings.
That's fine. It's okay. We'll still be friends over just like regular.
Yeah, just for sure. No smart pop.
No
That's
smart.
not popcorn. And white cheddar is not.
No, and it gets all over your finger. That's
Popcorn.
not.
Always gross. Nobody wants cheddar with their popcorn.
Yeah.
Steve,
Okay.
Why you feeling at me? You think I'm just a white cheddar guy?
you're a big white cheddar guy. That was your name in high school, white cheddar. White cheddar in the post.
They call me 2%. They call me
All over left shoulder, right hook. Yeah, all that.
all of it.
White cheddar for 5 points.
That'd be a funny name, or like 2% milk or something if they would have called me that.
Nah, white cheddar. White cheddar is your nickname from now. I might change that. It just flows. White cheddar is
WC, baby.
Come on, bro.
That's a pretty sweet nickname.
Embrace it. That you should brand that. Brand
Potsy.
it. Clip it.
Potsy white cheddar.
Hey, speaking of that, who was I? I was during an NBA game. Someone brought up the nickname of calling someone Potsy because he looked like he played or was in Happy Days. I swear to you, and I kind of got defensive. I was like, whoa, shut that down. Hold on. I've had that for a while.
No, that's how you know it should be true. Because if we said it and now somebody else is saying it, then
that's 15 years later.
That's 15 years later. You look like you look like nobody from Happy Days.
No, I don't have a cardigan on with my name on it. It did.
You probably came to school with a cardigan. Hey, Jeff.
Oh, I could see.
Never. Nah, in the winter. Maybe.
Maybe.
You drove a Chevy Malibu and you hopped out with the. I can see it.
Oh, I didn't hop out with a cardigan that said Potsy on it. That would have been.
Of course, they didn't say Potsy on it. There's probably some polo or something. I don't know.
We do wear polos.
I know we did. That's why I said it.
Gosh, high school fashion.
When did you guys become friends? Was it AAU? Like,
watch that match. They both start talking. They're both teed up. Celtics
Whoa.
Sorry, that's my I'm watching some highlight clip. I don't know. What? That was 7th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade.
7th grade. 7th grade.
7th grade. We played each other in a, I think it was like some, local tournament thing.
What do they call it? Oregon Prep. They called it Oregon Prep. It was weekend basketball games. It's like.
How do you remember this?
Because I used to live next to.
How do you remember Oregon? The name of the organization that threw the tournament in 7th grade is named Oregon Prep. How do you remember that?
Because he lived by me. That's why I knew it. That's why I remembered it. I knew the owner of it.
You have
and what, you spoke to him recently, and that's why it's like just at the top of your brain like that, like.
No,
please,
no. I just
continue. I might jog my memory.
So it's called Oregon Prep. They did like 3rd grade all the way up to high school because we used to do it in high school for like fall league. But yeah, we played each other, and we beat you, and I think we beat you. We did.
Yeah, you did. I was playing with my team.
Skyview.
You've heard of that. Well, yeah. The middle school is called Alki.
Yeah.
Alki Middle School. And yeah, basically that our team, like we did really well during like the school year league, and like I mean really well. Like we were blowing the teams out by like 20, 30 points.
Because you're on the
Yeah,
team.
for sure. No, some fun fact. There was 10 games in the whole season. I played 9. I ended it, and we had like some kid that didn't make it, so he kept stats. I scored 121 points. The next highest dude that scored was like 30 or 40. So I was out there dropping 40s and 50s. And I remember I left a game because my stomach hurt and I had to take shit. And I just thought I was dying. So I was like, no, fuck this game, I'm going home. And I took a shit and I was fine. But then I just remember like the kid was like, yo, you got 121 points and like $50. I'm just like, hell yeah. So the parents saw that and they're like, yo, we're going to take this team on the road. We go just a town over, play you guys, get smacked, and that was the end of that. And then right when that thing fell apart, that's when like I switched to your team.
Yeah.
So I was 7th grade. Nothing but that. Number one, headband.
Yeah.
I was
We had the
swagging on the
picture.
team.
We posted it on the podcast page, but
we should have more pictures. How come we don't have any more pictures?
I don't know.
I feel like that's our generation. Like we just didn't
take it. It just wasn't. I mean, we had cameras, but it just wasn't. Yeah, getting the hard copy to your phone is like a nightmare for us, I guess. I don't know.
So true. Should have had the parents bring the Polaroid. I don't know what we were thinking back then.
Yeah. Either way, we got enough, I guess.
Okay, so middle school, and then obviously stayed friends in college, and
No. Actually, middle school, we weren't even like that close of friends in middle school. We just, and it's so funny, happened to be standing next to each other in that picture. So it wasn't like we're like, Stephen, stand next to me, and okay, Terrence, here I go. Like it wasn't like that. So.
I mean, we were cool. We were cool for sure because we were the better players.
We were the better players. And his dad is the coach. Because they record whatever the fucking dad or the coach's kid wants. Like that's
that was not what it was.
No, I remember it was you. Who's like the smaller like pudgy dude? The point guard.
Kevin or Joseph Scarpelli and Kevin Wooler.
Kevin Scarpelli. I just remember Yeah, so amazing, right? So I remember that. And I was like, okay. But that kid he was just okay. And then we had Nick.
We had a bunch of random players.
Yeah.
But we were good though.
Alec. Why are these names pop? Anyway, but we were okay. We were solid. We were okay. We were okay. We had talent. And we had Robert. We had a 7th grade dude. He was probably 6'3". He had dreadlocks.
And a beard.
Like almost to his shoulders. He had a beard. He had a beard and mustache. He had braces. 7th grade, everybody thought he was a coach, and he was solid, bro. He matured into for 7th grade. You talking like he's driving the van with all these kids to the next guy to and from. Like it's amazing, and his mom was like tiny little woman. So
for him though, I'll never forget how many teams asked us for a birth certificate. Like that's how serious some of these tournaments would be. Like people are like, where's his birth certificate? They're like, dude, he's a 7th grader. Like let it go.
No, it's not even that. The fact that it's a 7th, they care so much.
He had a beard.
Damn, they just don't want their kids going out there on the weekends after a long week of school just getting dragged by a grown man if they don't have to. So they're just trying to avoid that. So but he was good too. Like he wasn't dunking yet. He wasn't dunking, but he was definitely like, you could tell he was just more physical with some of his moves, and he was more polished at that point. So yeah, we had a solid team. And then we played the kids that I would eventually go to high school with.
He went to the inner city and they whooped us up. So yeah.
Oh, bad.
That's the
bad. And I was just like, what are we doing? But it was just, we played an all-black team. All the kids, I don't know if Ponte was scared, but Scarpelli was scared. I can tell you that. And I can tell you Nick was probably a little shaken. And
a white kid, Italian white kid, and a country
small, undersized
white
Italian kid. So he was probably like, these kids are. I remember because we were playing like Kayak's team. We played his older brother too, so they were just kind of like just more physical.
It's just a full court press. If you know how
I remember. Yeah, no, I remember we were winning. No, we were like losing at half, but their coach thought that they weren't playing well enough. I remember them doing like push-ups or like suicides on like at halftime while we're just doing layups. So I was just like, they're about to drill us. Like it was crazy. But then I ended up switching and going to that team. And then I didn't see Ponte again I ended up going my freshman year. I stayed my freshman and sophomore year. I stayed in Portland. Then my junior year and my senior year, I went to Montrose Christian in DC. And so when I left, he kind of like, they found him and he just kind of like filled the role I left. And so he just walked in. Then I remember I leave that school, I'm coming back. And all my friends keep talking about this Potsy kid. I'm like, who's Potsy? And I thought it was Antoine because his name is, we call him Poe. So I'm just like, maybe Poe Potsy? I don't know. So I was just like, we were all linking up one day. And yeah, you showed up in like a white car. You hopped out. And mind you, Stephen in middle school was like, you were like you were a little short. You were actually pretty tall.
I was taller, but not the tallest.
Yeah, he was definitely pudgy though. Like that shirt he had on, you could not tell through it. It was black, so he was just like a heavier set kid, right? And when he popped out, like he had a little chin strap. And he's like 6'5", and I'm like, yo, who is this? I was like, I was like, no, Steven? He was like, yo, it was good. I'm just like, and mind you, like, nothing about Steven at the time when I met him there was like, you know, I'm gonna hang out with inner city black kids. Like, nothing screamed that at all. So when I saw him hanging out with like my friends, I was just like, what's happening? And then they were like, yeah, bro, he has barrels, he can shoot, all this. I'm just like, wait, what is happening? It was a weird moment, and then after that, we just kind of was always close after that.
Yeah,
crazy.
It is crazy.
Cannot believe it. It says that.
That is, I love that story. Just like total transformation, extreme makeover. Here's Stephen.
Look at him.
Just take over.
Look at him.
When was the last
you look
time?
like Michael Bisping. Sorry, UFC fighter. Anyway.
Have you guys played one-on-one? And when was the last time? Did Stephen ever beat you?
I've definitely won some games. Yeah, like
we 21 matches where there was a bunch of people, not just me.
But
we never really played one-on-one. And if we played three, I dunked on you one time at that.
No, but we did train. We did train together at
with Bino.
No, not at Bino. When you were training in Santa Monica at what's that place?
Oh yeah, like my first year in the league. It was like some.
What it's known everywhere. It's in Vegas. Impact.
Northridge.
No. We used to train at Impact, and Impact's in Vegas. Yeah. It's everywhere. And we used to do drills that were like, I would win spots. Like, we do one-on-one in different spots. You can't deny that.
Yeah. Hey, no, for sure.
I can score the basketball.
I'm not Tony Allen. I'm not Mike Jordan or Scottie Pippen. For sure, you scored.
I'm never going to let.
But no, the time at Northridge, it was you, me, and Noah, and we played one-on-one before my workout or after a workout. It's like a quick thing to like 3 or 4. Was it you or Noah I dunked on?
You dunked on Noah, not me.
It was okay. It was Noah.
But yes, we've been competitive in our matches. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not just straight up one-on-one though.
No.
Fair. So now, I mean, Terrence, you're probably best shooter Orlando, but like you're very well known for making tough shots in general. Mm-hmm. I mean, stroke. So I'm curious with Stephen, like what's the craziest shot that you've seen him make, or like his go-to that cannot be defended?
He really likes he likes his catch and shoot, but if you play him in like an open gym setting, he's going to left to right cross to pull up, and you can't stop it. Or is it right to left? It's one of those, because I remember. So this is what happened.
Yeah, I stopped doing it because I used that. Yeah, right to left.
Right to left.
Literally up to like 4 or 5 years ago in the league. As soon as I got traded, like Kyle would just scream that out, right to left, and then I think somebody plucked me one time, like Norman or some shit, and yeah, then I stopped doing that. But yeah, that was my move.
That's interesting.
My move. And I was just a catch and shoot guy. I couldn't dribble it with, like when we were in high school. I wasn't a big dribble guy. I could only put the ball in the deck for maybe 2 or 3 dribbles before it started to get away from me. So I was just like, I just need to get to a little bit of open area and just jump and shoot. And
yeah,
that's kind of been my life.
Is the next level like way more? Obviously, we know like college, we have. And like you're pretty in depth with like scouting people, but what do people not know about NBA? Like how you prepare for one dude? Like you said, Kyle was like right to left. Like is that?
No, that's light. Like the amount of scouting that we do is ridiculous. Like especially when it comes to playoff. Like during the season, you have to kind of get ready for a ton of different teams, so you just kind of stick to your principles. So you don't have to like get like stuck into one habit. So we play our principles pretty tough throughout the whole season. When it gets to like playoffs, we get like scouting books. I have one around. No, I'm not. But we get like scouting books, like binders full. We get USB drives, statistics of every person, like where they are, where they're most efficient and where they're least efficient from the field, like their stats, their streaky, like everything you can imagine. And then just like when you're playing for, so like at this point in my career, like the guys I really like have trouble scouting with sometimes, just the younger guys who are like the first, second year guys who are like the standout guys in the league, is because like you don't really know what they're completely capable of because they're just so young. But man, I pretty much know everybody's game in the league, like the back of my hand. Like, and it helped a lot, I'm not gonna lie, with like 2K growing up, like my first 4 or 5 years when I used to play religiously, because we used that what was that little the engine thing that they used for like all the stats and like replays? What was it called? We used to use it, bro. It's like a stat thing.
Are you talking about Synergy?
Synergy. So
yeah,
2K used Synergy, so like you could go like on 2K and look at everybody's true like percentages
true
and
attributes.
You can go to their you can go to the court and see where they're shooting from, like, and I used to look at that like all the time, like, every single day, just because I thought it was so interesting, because I was like, how's a video game doing this? So I'm looking at these percentages all the time, so I understood everybody's 3-point percentages, who could go left, who could go right, who could do this, who could do that, like, and not like the moves per se, but just like the percentages and just where they're efficient from on the court. That was like something I felt like was like a life hack. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just like the older I got, it's like the more you start to know everybody's game, and it's just, I think the longer you stay, just the easier it is you start to pick up on things.
Yeah. Wow. So you can never get in trouble for like playing too much NBA 2K. Like, coach,
No,
I literally study.
As long as you out there and you turn on like the true shooting percentages and you turn all the live updates on, you should be fine.
Dang.
You should know everybody's like strengths and weaknesses and free throw percentages and true shooting percent and all that.
And it's on you. Like, that's the interesting thing. It's like people don't realize, like, college, you get kind of tested. Like, we'd get tested, but like you actually, as a professional, you have to go through this stuff, and it determines like how good you're going to be.
Oh, always, especially like, and it helps when you know who your matchups are. Like, I know usually like who I'm guarding every night, so I know the type of player I'm playing, and we get scouting reports before every game, just like, you know, a basic like this sheet of just here's this guy's go-to, blah blah blah, and they just kind of down the list. So you like, there's no reason why we shouldn't know like the scouting report or KYP, know your own personnel, or know your personnel, and just be like locked in when you go out there. So we get so much data, it's crazy.
But it's interesting because, like you said, you've been in the league so long that you're playing these guys so many times. It's not like there's like hundreds of 200, 300 teams. You're talking about 30 teams, and there's only a certain amount of guys. Obviously, the new guys are something you run into. But since it's the playoffs right now, talk about how it is going against a team repetitively for like possibly 7 games in a row. Like, how I know you guys played the Bucks last year, and they're a really good team, but like, how does that play into it? You obviously know all their plays, or how you get a lot of
you know all their plays, bro. You know all their plays, and you know throughout the course of the series, you're gonna add and alter certain plays. So you know if they play you one way when you come off the screen, you might change that play just to like set a screen here, like just up the line rather than like further off the line. So it's just so many different things, bro. But it gets to the point where like game 1, they know what you're doing. Game 2, they know all your adjustments. Game 3, they know just everything that's happening. So it comes down to like game 3, game 4 is shot making and like just who can go out and get a bucket, bro. Because at that point, like you just know every single call. Like you hear every call multiple times a night. So by the time game 4, game 5, like you know every team's plays. Like, and it just gets to like the point where just who wants it more. It's like, okay, we know your play, go through your play, but when it gets time to get to that bucket, that's when it's like the next level of like the mindset, or not even the mindset, it's just like the mind game. Yeah, so it's just like, what are you gonna do now? So it's just that's hard. It's tough, bro, because you get frustrated, especially when you find somewhere where you're like, you have some success, like maybe I can drive this way, pull up, whatever, I can run this play, and then they take that away, like then it's like, okay, what am I gonna be able to do now? And you got to figure that out quick, because, bro, if you don't, like, every possession is like make or break.
Yeah.
Dang. Is there a certain organization or like certain head coach that is really good at that you're like, like we know if we have to play multiple games against this guy, he's going to make things really tough for me?
Or
someone that's
Raptors.
like,
the Raptors, like, because so the Raptors are the one team I always struggle against when it comes to like just trying to find my shots, because their head coach was like my he was like my go-to coach when I was in Toronto before he was a head coach. So he knows, like, I would talk to him every single day. He was my shooting coach before pregame, and he knows, like, my game inside and out, to the point where it's just like, all right, he likes to go left, pull up. He goes right, he's going all the way. Right to left crossover. Pin downs, we're going to blitz, we're going to switch, we're going to do this and that. And it's so funny because I'll be walking up the court, and Nick Nurse would kind of be like, oh, you're in? Oh, after after timeout or ATL, he'll be like, oh, we know where it's going. You know what's gonna happen. We're gonna W team. Like, what are you gonna do? He's telling me this as I'm just like bending over in the corner, just like talking to me. He's talking shit, and it's just the funniest thing ever. But it's so annoying because I know exactly what's gonna happen next. So that's the one, guys. Like, their defense is just so run and jump that it's kind of hard to they don't really follow the principles. So it gets like a little kind of organized chaos. And that's always hard to deal with. But I think I think there's a few good coaches. Like Brad Stevens is really good with his offense and defensive schemes. Doc Rivers is another brilliant, like, if you need to get a shot, he's going to get a shot open for you. Like, that's why that's how Ray Allen got all those shots in Boston, like the last second game winners, all Doc. Man, I don't know. There's a few coaches where, they can draw something up and give you problems.
How many times does a coach like Clifford for you just draw up like a brand new play that you guys have never worked on?
Well, so with us, with our team, our coach we have our list of, our traditional plays that we go through and the things that we look for each game. And then he has the plays that we only run like after ATOs, which is at the timeouts, but he has those plays that like are not really. He doesn't give us the names to them, but they have the names of them. They're usually from other teams. But if he ever sees anything that's like, this is a good catch and shoot play for like a team that we just played, we use it for us. Then he'll go out there and then for ATL, he'll draw something up. Like usually ATOs and after timeouts and out of bounds plays, like those are the times where we draw like those random plays that we get like a quick bucket off of. So he's pretty good at doing that, but I mean, it's just tough, bro. Like when you're a catch and shoot guy, like they know when anytime you go to like under the basket or you start running, they know that they're gonna have to like help at some point. So yeah, it's tricky.
I'm curious. That makes me think of like, I'm well known for having, well, not that well known, but like I have hearing problems. So, and listening problems, really, both of those two. How hard was it this year, like working with a coach that had the mask on, and like last year, like when you're on the court and you're trying to get instruction, now you see some people, obviously the guys that are vaccinated don't have the masks, and it seems like it would be really helpful to have that off.
No, I mean, honestly, like we got so used to it at first, like, the coaches are always playing with it, pulling it down or adjusting it or fixing it, whatever. And they were getting, like, the league was getting honest about that. Like, even during the games, like, they would not want the coaches to pull their mask down, call a play, and whatever. So, like, they were getting honest. But after a while, we kind of just know. Like, we got into that rhythm, like, and we were playing so often that, like, we kind of got, like, the vibe of, let's say, like, a 4 or 5 game stretch, like, what's working for us. And then we switch that up. And the coach was like, because we need to run this more. We need to run this in transition. He's like, and I'm not going to be able to call things, so you guys are going to have to listen to the signals, or you just have to just listen to the huddle for like 2 or 3 plays at a time. So it was different. I mean, it's just one of those things you have to adjust, and one of the things you definitely don't account for going into a season like this. But it's just one of the little nagging things you got to deal with.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Terrence. If people listening haven't watched you play, you're obviously in really good shape. You did really good on your test. I remember I was down there and you did your conditioning test and you beat your whole team. But last year before the season, I remember I was at your place and you beat everybody in your conditioning test. But you do something on the basketball court that I try to tell people to watch that not a lot of people do, but you act tired for like a half a second and it gets your defender. You know you do this too.
I'm low-key.
You're tired. It works though. It works though.
Like,
it works.
I'm not tired, but sometimes I am, sometimes not. But like, I don't know why I do it. When I go to the corner and I know
he puts his hands on his knees.
I put my hands on my knees and I just wait.
And then you have a double swing.
It's like a quick twitch. But bro, I try not to do that because I feel like that's my tail. Like you see me doing that, you know, like what's coming. So like I usually, but it's easier for me to like push off my knees and just go quick. Because if I stand up, and they try to twitch fast. It just like if they're gonna body me, I'm gonna get thrown off my line. It doesn't work. But
It is.
I don't
funny,
know, bro. I can't help it. I cannot help doing it.
Yeah, listen. So he goes to the corner.
Smart, though.
They have a double screen coming, and he'll just put his hands down, look down for a second, and then he goes, and then the guy's like, "Oh."
But I also do that too because like when I'm like standing straight up, they'll get into me. But if I bend over and kind of use my head as like a little like buffer, like they can't really like get under me. So I'm just like, okay, just and then bow them out. So I don't know, bro. It's just one of those things you kind of pick up on the fly. 'Cause when you're doing it so many times and people kind of get used to what you're doing, you have to find ways to still do it. So
It's like setting up a screen.
It is
like a juke, but really, like it probably also makes the defense like chill for a second because they can't be annoying up in you, which is the worst. If you're like if you're tall, I hate being any contact below the hips. I'm like, I'm done. Like you got me out.
Yeah, I'm no strength. I'm all like agility and speed. So anytime like a dude kind of like does this to me, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like being touched.
I know you definitely don't. Like being touched.
Steven's over here loving it.
Don't touch my hips with your fingers or your hands. Don't do it. And guys do that to me all the time, and it's the worst. And I'm just, it gets under my skin, but I'm just like, whatever.
That literally fuels Steven.
Yeah.
So I know because but Steven's like, he puts weight on you. Like I'm putting weight on this chair. Like when he posts up, like the way he leans back is like this, and he just puts that 245-pound frame on you, and it's just like, okay, I can't hold you up and like play defense. And I don't like any sweats ferociously. Yeah. He's a ferocious sweater. I also don't like when people sweat and touch me too. Like I understand it's basketball, but don't like. I can handle my own. Like I'm really not the arms. It's like that long wet mark. But anything above my face, like I'll throw up. It's bad. It's bad, bro. And you are one of them guys. Don't
he knows it.
Yeah, I was bad.
Don't drive slow to the lane and lean on me and then fade away for a little. Don't do that.
It works.
I love that. So fun to know.
Well, that was awesome. We really appreciate you, Terrence, coming on here. We'll definitely have to do this again. And
I have a quick question. Fun. It'll be quick. Because we also need to know a little bit more about your personality and this will hopefully get you guys on T. Ross podcast to go there too, because you talk about some interesting stuff. Can I get a rapid fire on conspiracy theories real fast? Like I give you a few options. Okay.
Yes. I like this.
Okay. So first of all, I mean, for some of them, it'll be like, how do you feel about this? What's your take on it?
I'll get to some hot takes real quick. Got it.
Love it.
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. What's your opinion on the Britney Spears conservatorship situation?
Honestly, my honest opinion is
come on.
I think, of course, I don't know how to say it, but
she's crazy. First of all.
Yeah, she's crazy, but I also think that with all the things she's probably experienced and seen over her last years, that she snapped and she has no control over anything. So yeah, I'm not gonna go into like what those things are, but I definitely feel like she's definitely fought some demons, and she's definitely has like lost her mind more than twice. And we're seeing it in like real time when she does these little,
Instagram
performances on Instagram, doing these live like poetry thing. You can definitely see she has some type of trauma, but it's definitely darker than what they're telling us on the media. I will say that.
Okay. I like that. That's true.
Good answer.
Some damage there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Percentage of information about UFOs and aliens the government is hiding from us right now.
I think all of this is, so with Trump releasing like the COVID-19 relief bill, he put in there that they had to release all their like classified documents that they have about UFOs. And I heard they're going to do that over like a 30-year period. So it's going to be like little small pieces of like information that they're just going to like kind of drop on us. I don't know what it's for, but like we all know, like they definitely have been in contact with other species. I'm not saying like the government and like, Biden and them. I'm talking like that deep shadow government organizations. There's definitely been like those deep underground military bases. Like they for sure have fucking like other types of life species, all different types of shit down there. But either way, there's that this is all like just what you would give a 2-year-old when we like explain things to them just to like ease their mind and their conscience. Like this is probably not anything remotely close to what's really happening. This might be like a hint of truth, but I just say everything they're saying, just take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, like enough to like shut us up for a little bit and chill.
For sure, and because people don't really even care. We really don't even care still.
We don't.
And until they show up to our front door, and if they ever do have an alien invasion, I think it's gonna be fake. So I don't know, and fake in the sense of like, no, like there's definitely gonna be, you're gonna see ships and shit, but I don't think it's gonna, like, they've had all this technology forever. They could probably been back engineering all these technology just to pull something off like this, to get like a one world government, one rule type of regime type thing. I don't know. That's different. That's like a new world order thing. But that's what I feel about it.
Okay.
Don't get him rambling.
I know you can talk. Okay.
People, these are the days. I'm sorry.
These are the days. I didn't even know this was a thing. Is Stevie Wonder really blind?
He's for sure blind.
Okay. Did you know that that's like debated?
Blindness. You said what?
That it's been debated.
That he's not?
That he's not, because there's video of him catching like a mic stand. And I know he's got like sensory, I'm sure that you develop over time, but like,
boom.
For sure.
Yeah, no, the Bomani Jones thinks that because of the imagery and like his music and like, there's so many different things that he lists is like why he doesn't think. And there's like a few people that are with it, but I'm with you.
I don't know. Blindness doesn't sell records or image. I don't know. He might have just, the samurais, like the blind samurais who could basically, like Daredevil. He could be Daredevil for all we know. He could just be that good at times. I don't know. I've never. He could be a clone too. Who knows?
Don't get into that.
And to like fake that your whole life. I mean, that's a big commitment. I can't imagine.
That's a big commitment. And only a clone, somebody controlled by something else, could live that entire life out. And Stevie's still alive. He's been doing this for 50 years now, just being blind and singing. Like, and what, I don't even know how many albums he has. He can't have that many stories just like set for life, which he probably could. But I don't know. He's a clone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that. He's clone for sure. Last one. I'm trying to decide between which one would you rather talk about, Area 51 or the Biggie Tupac deaths?
Area 51.
Okay. How do you feel about it? Like, what do you think? Is it real?
I feel Area 51 maybe was, used at some point, maybe the 50s, when shit started popping off or, whatever happened. But I don't feel like that's the base where you're going to find anything. Everything's going to be at like S2, S4, which is, 15 miles from there, same desert, same area, but those are kind of built into like the side of like the mountains and stuff. So I think, and those people were like, they always were reporting like seeing stuff around that area. I forgot the name of the lake, but the lake out there, they're always seeing stuff flying around. So
Lake
I think that's one. Something like that. So I think they use that as like one of the military bases that they use to back engineer any, spacecrafts they might have acquired or found or whatever. I think that's what they back engineer all that stuff. Still, I don't think you're like finding the aliens walking around out there.
But it's kind of like you said though, with the information, like I think the government purposely gave us like Area 51 and have really blown it up, and that obviously have places like that elsewhere that we have no idea about, because they just gave it to us to be like, hey, there's something for you guys to like.
No, for sure, but that's like everything is just to throw you off the scent. Like it's all just for confusion, sure. Like to the point where they're always like, okay, we really don't care. So
yeah. It'd be interesting to have. I know Mike Leach is interesting as a character and interesting life choices, but it'd be really interesting to have you guys like talk to them. We
need to get Mike Leach on our podcast. So
Let's do it. Next guest.
It'd be tough, but yes, we could try to pull that off.
I bet you could do it. Tell him, talk about conspiracy theories. He loves that stuff. But thank you, Terrence. We so appreciate it. This was
no worries. Thank you guys for having me.